even more the Melodyne if you're kind of going for that effect, or
yeah,
not as much?
If I am going for that effect, yes. There are a couple of tracks by Matt Taylor, who's an artist that I've been working with for the last 4.5 years. He's amazing. Go check him out.
I think everyone's going to check it out on the Saw segment, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. But he has on his most recent project, his EP called April 13th. The first song on the EP is called Godspeed, and we really wanted that 070 Shake vibe, that kind of heavy auto tune in parts, as a kind of creative production choice. I think I did actually send those over just with Melodyne to the producer in the end, but that effect was there just for the demo that I sent over coming out of that recording session.
Cool. And in terms of like microphones, we were kind of schmoozing about this before we actually started recording. Yeah. But you got this 47 mod. I was telling you how I'm kind of looking for like a good 251 clone because I can't afford a 251, but I seem to always be using the 251 version of the Slate microphone.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. So tell me about what if you had to choose only one microphone.
Oh wow, 251. It would be
251. Yeah, definitely. It would be the 251 over the 800.
Oh yeah. Well, honestly, the 251 is pretty. I don't want to say universal. Someone's gonna come at me for saying that.
I should have set you up this way.
Oh no!
You could just tell me about your favorite microphones.
No, the 251 is definitely up there. There's a warmth. It feels like a warm hug or like a warm cup of tea once you've come in from a cold day, is the best way I can describe it. But my chain doesn't fluctuate too much. And the thing that usually changes the most would be the microphone, but usually outboard gear wise, I'm using a 1081 Pre or a 1073. Although I do prefer a 1081 and a TubeTech CL1B.
Classic. Got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have any of the outboard gear, so I can only covet what you're talking about. So.
but you know.
I know what you mean. Yeah, totally. Amazing. So I want to ask you a little bit about work. I mean, how do artists find you, and how do you see if it's a good fit? It's an artist that's a good fit for you to work with specifically.
I think, as you said when we were schmoozing before, the self-promotion and the marketing comes into play a lot here. And I mean, I try to kind of show that a lot of the stuff I am working on is pop, Afrobeats, Afropop, electronic pop. It's all kind of sits in that realm. And, I'm the biggest pop fan. I could listen to pop all day. Also, pop fascinates me because it's always changing, but that's another subject. Work comes my way. Usually it's a mix, I would say, of word of mouth and Instagram, funnily enough. Instagram, my website, sometimes just like a cold email, which people usually find on my Instagram. But right. It's great because like I said before, I do listen to everything. That usually comes through. And the way I kind of, I guess, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb is I am listening to the vocals. I'm really trying to hone in on how can the experience I've had recording and vocal producing and as an assistant engineer also help me better this artist's performance. Is it a genre that is completely out of my reach? Is it something where, even if it is a different kind of genre, I can still bring in some of my influences to make it better? I am really purely thinking about how, whether or not I have enough expertise to kind of help the person out. Recently, I recorded a country EP with the lovely Jade Hellowell. She's amazing. And, I being Canadian, grew up on Shania Twain like nobody's business. No, honestly, I love Shania Twain. So that's how
that's a great quote for the podcast.
I listened to Shania Twain growing up, and that is how I learned how to harmonize in the first place, listening to country music, her stuff specifically. And, I loved working on that EP with Jade because it helped. I basically went back to all of those influences and just built those really tight, close harmonies to support throughout her tracks. And it was really great fun. But in that way, it's not always the same thing. I do kind of like to vary what I'm working on, but I am listening to people's vocals and where and their references that they send me and kind of where they want their stuff to go. And a lot of the times it's maybe someone that's coming from a rock background, who thinks, I do have all of this experience with rock vocals and like screamo, but I actually want to go a little more pop with my stuff. So do you think you can help me with that? Or at least like help me do an arrangement, because I've never had to do that before for my rock stuff. So that's an example of where I feel like I can actually help.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned kind of getting inquiries over Instagram. I mean, all your stuff is like so on point. Your website, your Instagram, everything is great. Like, how have you been able to, I don't know, build up such an Instagram following and get people through the door that way? Is there any marketing secrets?
Honestly, Ben, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I will try to answer this question to the best of my abilities, but I struggle with the self-promotion, to be honest. It's difficult to put yourself out there, especially when you're just starting out. There was a lot on my side. There was a lot of insecurity behind like, do I want to post a video of myself singing? Some engineers that I've worked with follow me on Instagram. If they see this, and maybe that person has worked with like Adele, for example, are they going to cringe? That was a big barrier to, I guess, marketing myself. Overthinking what other people might perceive me as. And actually,
are you the oldest?
Well, I'm an only child.
Okay, so I'm the oldest child. It seems like a similar situation. Yeah.
Yeah. But once I had sort of got over that hurdle of being insecure and worrying about how other people might perceive me, I really learned how to embrace my personality, to be honest, and just kind of show that, pink is my favorite color, and I love working with strongly opinionated women on their music, and I just love bringing lots of energy into a room, especially into kind of recording sessions. And I won't say I'm always very high energy, but I guess I try to kind of be really friendly, especially in a studio environment, and make it so that people and artists feel comfortable being vulnerable with me, to be honest. And I try to kind of present that when I am on social media, stuff like that. Just, I guess, to show that people can be comfortable with me, and, I just want to keep it real. But at the same time, can be super professional. And one of the biggest things as well is shouting out about stuff that I have already worked on and promoting other artists like we have been working together for years. Because, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's important that for the artist to understand that, like, I love being part of that team with you. I loved creating this with you. Let's do it again. Or, let's let the world know how much fun we actually had in the studio together. Things like that. I just want to keep it really, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. It's always like we talked about, like, the network that you built in your, at the Abbey Road Institute, and just having, the people that you work with, just constantly supporting them. And then they in turn constantly support you. And I mean, it's a people industry, right? People forget that.
Absolutely.
And
people
it's so important.
Really forget that.
Yeah, it's important to shout out the people you work with, because they'll appreciate it so much. It, like the artists I work with, when I share stuff, they really appreciate it. Like, because it's like, oh, cool, you cared about this project. You didn't just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I want to show potential clients as well. Like, I want to care about your project.
Yeah, bring me into the team. I will help you.
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
vouch for you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, in addition to your vocal producing, I saw, that I listened to a bunch of songs that you mixed, and your mixes sound awesome. Like banging low end.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's mixing is something that I guess I kind of have been doing on the side a lot. I'm doing like rough mixes, usually mixing my own vocals into other tracks, and just kind of, I have a mix with a master's account, and I did have to do mixing when I was at Abbey Road, but I don't know. I never thought that I could, do it as well as I could maybe do the vocal production stuff. But I am starting to get into mixing a little bit more. And again, I think genre plays a big part too, because a lot of the stuff I'm listening to is pop or R&B. So I'm very pleased to hear you say banging low end.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we like what we listen to, and then we try to emulate it.
Exactly.
And that's the best way to get better mixing, is to study those records.
100%. And I tell people all the time, the best thing to do is listen to the things that you love that are already out, because like the studying, all the materials you have are already out. They're already there. The best thing you can do is listen with a critical ear.
Yeah. Do you have an approach to mixing when you do mix a song? Like, are you? I'm assuming you're in the box. How's it going? What are you doing?
I am. I'd like to say I'm mainly in the box. Yes. Depending on the tracks, for some of the R&B stuff, like for Alice Rowe's song "As It Seems," which came out yesterday. Go give that a spin. I was 60% in the box, 40% using a little bit of desk mixing, coming back onto
Where did you mix it?
So I work at a studio called Platoon 7, which is owned by the label and distribution company Platoon, and the studio is based up in Tallyard.
Awesome. So do you rent space from them?
I don't rent space. So I kind of work for them as a freelancer. So I work with their artists. A lot of the kind of vocal production and engineering work that I do, that on the label side is with them and with their artists.
Amazing.
The space is for their artists only at the moment. So it's really lovely to kind of work within a smaller team, I guess, as opposed to like in a bigger commercial studio where there might be a little bit more of a disconnect between the engineer and the artist. Like you have a different session every day and you don't know the person that's coming in. Whereas at a label like Platoon, it's great because, we have repeat artists coming through and they might say, Ramera, can I pull you for a chat? I want to play you these songs that we recorded because I just got them mixed. Do you think we can book in another day to record some BVs, stuff like that? So you really get to develop this relationship with the artist.
Amazing.
And that's lovely. And,
wow.
I do some mixes for the label as well. Some of the live stuff. Which is fun.
Awesome.
So in that sense, I got to kind of really hone in on the mix skills and
get access to some dope analog gear.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. So most of your mixing is through the label, basically.
Not most. I'd say I don't know. It's quite half and half at the moment. Again, actually, what's funny is the people that the artists who I vocal produce are the ones who often ask me, do you mix as well? Because I was thinking, I've heard a couple of your mixes. They sound really great, or you did a great job. Like I loved how you mixed your vocals.
Yeah, the vocals already sound so good. Just finish it. The vocals are the most important part, right?
Yeah. So they ask, can I listen to your reel or just at least have an insight into what you can do mix wise? And I always send them over some stuff. And, like I said, I don't think my mix roster is as large as my vocal production one at the moment, but we're getting there, trying to build that up. So I send them over like a handful of songs and usually they like what they hear so far anyway. And it comes from there. So that's kind of what happens on the freelance side. On the label side, sometimes, if there's a track that I've already recorded and then I kind of tune in and hear, I don't have anyone to mix this. I kind of put myself forward for it. Or, sometimes the studio managers will come to me saying, someone's looking for someone to mix this at the moment. They're struggling. How do you feel taking it on? Can you send me your mix reel, kind of thing? So it is quite a mix.
That's great. It's so good to be in the room and be able to kind of just show your face.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, not everybody has that. I think so many people are just alone in their rooms. Using the internet to kind of.
And I mean, it's not a bad approach to things either. I think there's a beauty in that as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the lesson is that people, even if you are alone in a room, you got to get out to shows and show your face to people and let 100%. People, like, even with Instagram, it's great. It's like, because it helps you stay top of mind with people. And so whatever method you have to use in order to kind of show your face, even if it's digitally, because otherwise nobody knows about you and knows that you're working or looking to work, Exactly. Yeah. So how do you feel about jumping into like your approach to mixing? Are you like a top-down mixer? Tell me about how you mix.
Oh gosh. Again, I'm kind of at the beginnings of figuring out what my process, I guess, should be, and I'm trying to, I guess, pick apart methods from some great mix engineers that I've always looked up to. So, I guess for me, again, I kind of go in with references. I have a chat to the artist, very similar to kind of the pre-production aspect of vocal production, where we have a chat and like, okay, what are you hearing here? Or I go ahead and listen to their other stuff, and I say, you know, I choose a couple of mixes from their previous stuff that's been released, and I send it over, and I say, I love how this has been mixed. May I ask who mixed this? And I kind of